we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Fire Nico. That's right, no joker. Fire Nico indeed. Of course, also as well, don't forget, we've got a lot of great stuff coming for you on the way this weekend. Saturday, the Lakerholics from Lakerholics.com are back. Join us Saturday at 11 a.m. where Laker Tom, Michael Heinrich, and maybe even Elrod will be stopping on by. I will host the show in place of Jamie, who will be scaring some kids. He says he might go as Rob Pelinka to really put the scare in everyone. So go ahead and check out us tomorrow as the Lakerholics get together from Lakerholics.com. And don't forget to check out everything they do at Lakerholics.com. But yes, Saturday at 11 a.m. for everybody out there right here on YouTube. Also as well, my good friend Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Yo! Hopefully he'll be able to provide better highlights of the Dodgers going forward. We'll just have to put one in the books, give it to the Blue Jays. We'll just go ahead and win 4 after that. Get it going. But for all your great highlights right there and some good NBA 2K action, go ahead and check out my good friend Daniel Berry Sports Highlights indeed. John Costas here, Clutch Talks and Lakers Corner. Go ahead and check out what he's doing. Our Lakers social media guru at Lakers Corner, at Instagram, at TikTok, a place where we're banned. So, wish I could help you out on TikTok, but we're banned. Thanks, Joe. But also, as well, of course, don't forget everything that he does, including his game recaps right there at Lakers Corner on YouTube and everywhere you get your social media. Where's the Lakers light? Oh, what happened to your Lakers light?
You're right. You're right, no joker. I'm sorry. I'm about to turn it on right now. You ready? Here we go.
Yes.
You move the mic. You move the microphone.
Yes. Oh, there it is in the corner. You put it in the corner. There you go. Okay, I see it right there. All right.
Boom.
JSJ says he loves Marcus Smart. Okay, we'll see. We'll see if that continues throughout the season. I'll have to hold you to that, and we'll see what happens there. But also, don't forget, I host the Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. I have talked to all my fellow hosts, and they are all pissed off. Why? Well, JSJ, I think, knows why. Because if you have a PlayStation, you're going to get something that I thought would never be on the PlayStation next year. And they are all hot under the collar about that. So you should be hearing their thoughts in the coming days. Plus, also, is Tron Ares that bad? I've got a lot of people talking to me about how Tron Ares is actually a pretty good movie. So we'll talk about that and more. Plus, also a state of pro wrestling coming up as well in the near future right there at the Pop Culture Cosmos, wherever you get your podcasts. Before I hit up on the Drip Show stuff, I want to go ahead and mention again, if you have not seen my interview with Yaron Weitzman, it is a really good interview I had with him. It is available on both the YouTube channel, also as well, of course, audio channels like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you can, if you're a good supporter of the Lakers Fast Break, I don't get any money from this. I just got the free book, got a chance to read through it before I interviewed him. This is a good book. The only thing it didn't have on the inside was the Damon Jones stuff. But if you want all the other inside stuff on what happened with the Lakers and El Segundo in the past few years, right here for you. Stuff you didn't know about is contained within. The Lakers did not want you to see this book come out, but it is out. It is a Hollywood ending. The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers by Yaron Weitzman. It is available now wherever you get your books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. I will put the link in the description for you guys there. You'll have it, order it. It's going to be a great stocking stuffer for you this holiday. And speaking of stocking stuffers, okay, one stocking will have that book, and the other stocking will have the great stuff that you need to go ahead and get from my friend Drip Show at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. Again, holiday season is coming up. You need a unique gift. Don't just get the same old blah, blah, blah. Might as well put a coal in their stocking. No, you need to put some good stuff in their stockings or wrap up underneath the Christmas tree. And I can tell you right now, if you can dream it, Drip Show may be able to do it for you. So go ahead. You start off with following him on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And then you say, hey, Drip Show. You message him, DM. You slide into his DMs, as they say. You say, hey, can you make a pillow with a certain design like this one you have with Gerald right there, and you have the one with John right there as well? Can you do something like that for me with a design, whether it's pop culture related, Taylor Swift related, K-pop related, Pokemon related, or if it's sports related, if you're a sports fan of like Joe, a Steelers or Lakers or Dodgers or Blue Jays or something like that, go ahead, hit him up with that. Or canvas art. Look at that detail from Luka, who only had 49 tonight. What's such a shame he didn't get 50. We'll have to go ahead and chew him out later for that one. Plus also Kobe. Look at that right behind me. Look at that detail. Shirt, hat, he does it all. Go ahead. If you can dream it, he may be able to do it. So hit him up today at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter right there for you. Also, as well, of course, don't forget Empire Jeff TV covering the Lakers and Dodgers. Also, don't forget our good friends Legend from I Got Next Sports Media. He has done a great job in recent days for us. I really, really think it's just such a great time when he's on. It just really handles himself with a lot of class. And despite the fact that Golden State laid an egg today, you figured they're the Golden State Warriors 2 days in a row, back to back. This is where they're going to have their issues. You know what? He is always grateful for your support for his I Got Next Sports Media channel right there on YouTube that you need to support as well. But heading into today's game, we talked about all the doom and gloom after what happened on opening night. It's not exactly the best thing in the world to watch, but the Lakers, what would they do without LeBron for a second straight game? Also, Jackson Hayes not there tonight. So what would they do against a team that they were vertically challenged against in the playoffs in the Minnesota Timberwolves, coming off their victory in the last game? I think Chauncey Billups, whatever coach, he, meaning Anthony Edwards, came over to the Lakers. And by the way, if you want to see a great interview, I had a great interview as far as with the author of Ant for the Minnesota Timberwolves as well. You want to go ahead and check that out as well. But they came in to the crypto.com arena tonight. Lakers looking to find some way to generate consistent offense. That was the complaint among many, is that if you're not going to be able to play a high level of defense, you need to score the ball. And you know what? They did indeed. After giving up a 40 spot in the first quarter, kind of looked concerning from there as they were down 4, but the Lakers in the second and third quarters, the third quarter, which was an issue for the Lakers in the first game and an issue for several seasons now, guess what they did? They made sure they applied the pressure, and they did in the second and third quarter, outscoring Minnesota 72-54, taking control of the game in the second half and making it comfortable to where there was actually some garbage time, which was kind of great to see. And the only question is, would Luka get to 50? Didn't quite get to 50, but still 14-23, 5 of 12, 14-23 overall, 5 of 12 from 3, 16-19 at the line, 49, 11, and 8. Oh, by the way, just another day at the office. Austin Reeves chipping in on the side with 25 and 11 assists and 7 rebounds himself. And Rui Hashimura looking to get paid like Austin is. And if those guys keep on doing these video game numbers, they will. 10 of 13 from him, 2 of 4 from 3, 23 points. The Lakers rode those guys along with DeAndre Ayton chipping in with 15 and 8 to an easy 128-110 victory. And here today is a good man indeed. It is, of course, the legend himself, our Lakers social media guru. It is Mr. John Costa. John, great to have you here. The Chat is fired up. They're ready to go. They're enjoying what they're seeing. The Lakers have a win. Offensively, it really clicked today. Defensively, especially that first half, wasn't the greatest thing, But I tell you what, the second and third quarters, they focused in on what they needed to do. They got enough defense, but their offense throughout the game never stopped clicking, my friend. And that ultimately was the key to the Lakers' victory tonight.
Yes, it was, brother. Yes, it was. And first of all, what's up, everybody here? Good to see everybody here, man. I seen John. He's also here in the chat, and he said, "Hey, John." So great name, John. And everybody else said, "What's up, man?" And big shout out to CJ. We were over there in the playback on Lakers Corner. He came on stage, and we were having a great time. So big shout out to CJ. If you guys want to ever join playback, but. Anyway, let's talk about this game, Gerald. Let's talk about this game because I'm happy. I'm
hold on. Let me just say, they say I didn't send the link out. Okay.
No, you sent the link. I clicked on the link in my email.
All right. I'll send him another one.
Just send him the link again.
I will send it to him.
So look, all right. Let's get into it, guys. Early in this game, I thought it was going to be like last game because we came out sluggish, had those 3 early turnovers. That zone was confusing us. And on the other end, they went for like 5 of 7 from the first threes. They got out to that early lead. We had absolutely no ball movement early in the game. It was literally 4 players watching Luka Doncic go one-on-one. And then what really made it worse, at least for me, I was like, oh wow, this is really bad, is when JJ Redick decided to go small. When he had Luka, AR, Dalton Connect, Smart, and then Vando at the 5. That right there was, I was like, yo, didn't we lose last year to the Timberwolves because of their clear height advantage and their second chance points? And in the first half, they went 18-0 second chance points. They had 18 second chance points to our 0. So I was like, what in the world's going on here, JJ? But then we had that run where everything just switched. The momentum of the game just switched. The feel of the game, the players out there, you could just sense it. You could see it. You could sense it. This is probably one of those games when if you were at the game, like you could just feel the energy shift, right? Because then we tied the game in the second quarter, end up going on a run. And I got to give Marcus Smart his credit, man. Because that run in the second quarter, that only happened because of Marcus Smart's intensity. JJ Redick got that tech. It turned everybody up. Marcus Smart came in, started diving on loose balls, started getting steals, turning defense into offense. And then from there, we're rolling. AR sees that happen. He's high. Luka Doncic is Luka Doncic. Like that's insane. We ended up outscoring them. What was it in that second quarter? We outscored them, 32-23 in the second quarter, and then in the third, 40-31. That's the story of the game. You want to know where the game was decided? Was right there. So, like I said, big shout out to Marcus Smart, big shout out to Vando, great defensive energy. I actually at the time was a little bit upset about JJ Redick's tech. I was like, JJ, like, chill out. And he kept hollering too at the ref after, but. You know what? I think in the long term, it was really one of those that like the coach turned up to get his players turned up, ended up working. And then as far as DeAndre Ayton, and then I'll let Joe go here. As far as DeAndre Ayton, look, man, I said this after the first game. I said, look, I think he played bad, but I'm not necessarily worried because he's going to come along the more he comes along with Luka. The more reps he gets and next Luka under his belt, he's going to improve because his as good as he is kind of based on however good Luka's going to make him because Luka and him running that 2-man game is what's really going to unlock his game to a whole nother level. And if he understands how to make decisions out of the short roll, then his game will really go to the next level. But good to see a solid performance from the Lakers. Good to see a win and Luka Doncic making freaking history, like most points in the first 2 games in Laker history. That's crazy. But anyway, good to see everybody here. Let's see what the chat's talking about.
I'm scared, John, because the Dodgers got their butts kicked today, and Joe's making all these weird faces. I'm kind of
Joe,
worried.
What's up, Joe?
Should I send it over to him? Why not?
I think you
It
should
is a
send it
good
over.
man indeed. Yes, it is a good man indeed. Please go ahead and check out what he's doing today at the Joe Soro Experiment on Playback, the Joe Soro Experiment on YouTube. His company, Simblades, simbladeswithY.com. It is, of course, Joe Soro. Joe, good to have you here. Apologies that it was delayed on the link to you. I'm sorry. I do apologize for that, and I know I'm going to get something in return for that. But be that as it may, Luka disappointed us all by only getting 49. Sniff, sniff. But his sheer wizardry in that first half when he was going mano a mano with Anthony Edwards. I mean, there was no defense to be had for a stretch there, quite a stretch there. But it was beautiful to watch to see this mano a mano game. And again, when we talked about all summer long, skinny Luka looking like he was going to be unbelievable this season, it's not too far from the truth. We've seen some incredible performances so far in this first week by him, SGA, Victor Wembanyama. Oh, Victor only had 9 blocks tonight, by the way, as well. So, yeah, that's a bummer there as well. But we've had some incredible performance in this first week, Joe. But no more so than Luka's 240-plus games so far this season.
The reality of the Laker season is going to be the beginning of Luka's career as a Laker. And there's no bigger stage than the LA Lakers when it comes to a basketball player, no matter who it is, no matter where it is. It's still the Lakers are the stage of it's Carnegie Hall of the NBA. And he makes it look effortless. And I can only imagine what's going to happen when he has a team that's more conducive of his ability. And will the coach be able to put that together correctly? I'm kind of stuck with NBA coaches, similar to kind of how baseball managers are. I don't know what's a great coach anymore in the NBA. I don't know who the next great coach is going to be. I don't know if it's possible anymore. I don't.
What makes you say that?
I haven't seen it. It's been a while. If you look at talent versus coach, obviously when you look at the great coaches of all time, they always have those stars, right? And the last multiple title run was the Golden State Warriors. And Steve Kerr is a good coach, but I never considered him great, much like Eric Spoelstra. Now, people's definition of great and good has been skewed so much. A lot of coaches, a lot of players go to the Hall of Fame. I'm like, what? Really? Like, the Hall of Fame and the term great is supposed to be set for those who are like a Nick Saban or a Phil Jackson or a Bill Belichick. Those guys are great because they are doing it in ridiculous amounts, winning 6 Super Bowls, winning 7 national championships, winning 11 NBA championships. Yes, talent plays a huge factor in that, but you can't win that much if you're not really, really great at what you do. Because in some cases, and in most cases, and I'm sure Larry Brown would attest to this, and Allen Iverson's already on record talking about this with his regret during his playing days, managing players like that, a Kobe Bryant, a Shaq, and a Jordan, in a lot of ways is harder than coaching those who are maybe marginal or good. So, what I see coming soon here, and it looks like it's going to be in about a month, that is the Mark Walter Group, which is the Guggenheims, taking over the Lakers'
As
ownership.
was reported by Ramona Shelburne earlier today.
I feel very comfortable that they're going to get the correct team together, and Luka is going to be able to showcase his skills at some point here in the next few years as one of the top teams in the league, and it'll be perennial. Won't be just some off the cuff every other year type. Oh, will they make it? No, I think the Lakers are about done with that. I think that's over. This needs to be a run. This needs to be a team that's going to be built to compete for the next 5 to 6 to 7 years, especially when you have, in my view, the best point guard in the league and arguably the best player in the league. Tonight was fun to watch, even though I got it at the tail end of the first quarter. Didn't see the beginning all the way because I was watching the Dodger game. But what I did see is I did see a couple things that I didn't see in game one. I saw an extra gear from everyone. I also saw very good switching on defense where it wasn't like that in game one. I don't know if that was an energy thing. I don't know if that was the first time they had played together in game one where they didn't know where they were going. I don't know. We were pretty harsh on them after game one because I'd like to think that, a training camp, a summer, and all these things should at least have your fundamentals in line a little bit. And they looked like they hadn't played basketball or had any teachings of any fundamentals in ever. But they came out tonight, and I think it was a combination of Minnesota also coming in thinking that they were just going to roll the ball into the court and they're just going to rock and roll. Well, it looked like I was saying it on playback. It looked like a team that was playing mid-season that was taking no worry on what was about to happen, and they got punched in the mouth, and that was Minnesota. So it was nice. It kind of tempered a little bit of the horrendous game one in Toronto. It's interesting how in 3 hours the Dodgers went from winning in 4 or 5 games to now they're going to get swept. It teaches you what I've learned tonight is you have the attention span of the human being has officially gone into the shitter. I mean, it's done. Like, it's never going to get back to what it was. I mean, by the second at some point, I don't know if there's anything else by the second, right? Like that we're done at this point. It's kind of like having fast internet. At what point are you going to have to worry about getting from 1 seconds to the site versus 0.09, right? I mean, I'm just kind of using a comparison there. But the point is that ending coincided a little bit with what was going on with the Lakers, and I was able to watch at least something with some skill coming from my team, which was a lot of energy, playing hard on defense, and of course Luka doing Luka things. Which, if Luka plays 75 games this year, I have no doubt that he will win the scoring title, and there's a possibility he might be the first 30-point triple-double player in the NBA. But he's going to need some help from his teammates. They're going to need to make shots continuously because those assists need to go to guys that are consistent and able to score. By the way, props to my cousins out in Phoenix. I'll be seeing them in a week.
Hey, what your cousins in Phoenix do?
A lot of things.
Well, then props to them.
Yeah.
Once again, the Lakers win. Tonight going 1-1 on the season with a 128-110 victory. John, let me bring it back to you. I know that a lot of talk was about at times, especially in that second and third quarter, how the Lakers seemed to provide a little bit more energy, as Joe said, on the defensive end. On the first quarter, it was not a defensive juggernaut in any way, shape, or form. But in the second and third quarter, they seem to pay a little bit more attention to the effort on that side of the ball. I know that I will not be calling, sorry, no joker, I will not be calling Vanderbilt the defensive Jesus, like you were saying, I believe, earlier. But he did provide a lot of energy. If he can't provide it for you on the offensive end, he did provide as the small ball center in place of Jackson Hayes tonight. He did provide some good help and also laid a body or two on, of course, the size that Minnesota has, especially with Rudy Gobert there, who destroyed the Lakers in the playoffs. He seemingly did a good job covering the back line when asked, and then also as well Marcus Smart. I know that Joe alluded to it. A lot of defensive effort tonight from him, creating a lot of havoc, playing a little bit like what we remember him in the Boston days. If they can get anything close to that, John, that kind of consistent effort from those two, if they can at least slow down a player like Anthony Edwards, because we saw Gabe Vincent in that first quarter. That was not happening. Anthony Edwards was just having a field day on it. That cannot happen going forward. But if you put the kind of effort with Marcus Smart, who has the strength, maybe not the quickness anymore, but the strength to guard many of those players, and Jared Vanderbilt, who now has that increased agility 1 year removed from that double foot surgery, it at least allows us two opportunities to go ahead and defend the ball at a decent level, my friend. And sometimes that's all Luka needs if he's shooting like this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So to start from the beginning of what you were mentioning, first quarter, yeah, the defense was absolutely terrible. I mean, it took Luka Doncic scoring 23 points in the first quarter for us to even stay in the game, and we were still down by like I think 4 or 5 at the end. Yeah, we were down by 4 points at the end of the first quarter, and Luka scored 23. It was Luka and Ant just going at it. But it was the second quarter, and it's like I mentioned earlier when I first was talking, it's Marcus Smart. When Marcus Smart came in, I swear to you guys, it was the JJ Tech, and then it was the Marcus Smart coming in. He dove on a loose ball, and it was from that moment that the energy just shifted. Everybody in the defensive end started stepping up. We stopped falling asleep on backdoor cuts, and then Marcus Smart stepped up on Anthony Edwards, and we seen Anthony Edwards absolutely torch Gabe Vincent because he's too small, which he shouldn't be out there, shouldn't be in the starting lineup. We saw him torch Dalton Connect. I don't know why Dalton Connect was on him. I think it was like 3 possessions in a row, and I was like, one was an and one, other was I think he dumped it off to somebody else for a dunk, and forgot what the last one was. But then Marcus Smart stepped up. When Marcus Smart stepped up, he, to your point, Joe, he doesn't have the same quickness that he used to have, but he's a really smart defender, to be honest with you. Like, there's tactics that you can do in the defense.
It's positional.
He's extremely positional, and that's one thing I was going to get to. Like with basketball, a lot of times, like if you're not at the right spot, your speed and your athleticism sometimes could bail you out. But if you can just get to the right spot before somebody, like there's nothing you can do, no matter how strong you are, no matter how athletic you are, no matter how fast you are, no matter how high you jump. If I'm just at the position before you're at the position, like you could be better than me, right? I think Eric Thomas said this, that motivational speaker. He was talking about like getting up early and getting to it. He's like, look, the other person might be better than me, might be stronger than me, but if I'm just here first, ain't nothing you can do about it. And that's what I think Marcus Smart was on. And like I said earlier, I think him and Vando were the big energy shifters on the defensive end tonight. Got us a lot of easy buckets, turned defense into offense easy, and he was able to shut down Anthony Edwards, because the non-Anthony Edwards minutes out there were terrible. So for the fact that we're able to contain him and contain him when he was off the court, and then when he came on the court, even have an answer for that too. I love to see it, man. I'm gonna be honest. I love to see it. So
yeah, the old saying is a hard worker can get past a talented player.
Yeah. Hard
But
work.
then, yeah, the thing is, Marcus Smart knows how to play one way, and when he's healthy, it's an asset to any team. The only issue he had in Boston during the latter years of his career there is he couldn't make the shots in the playoffs when they needed him to, and that was what was missing. And they got that. They eventually got that, and they were able to win a title. The thing is, I value talent, especially when it comes to basketball, because you only have 5 guys. I was drawing a blank. I meant Derek White. So Derek White was the guy that kind of took him over.
Yeah.
And then they were able to use Drew Holiday as kind of a pseudo Marcus Smart, and he just happened to play amazing defense in that time when they traded for him, and then he also was able to make key offensive plays that took him, like especially in late in games, that took him over the top. But other than that, Marcus Smart is what this team kind of needs. They need somebody that has an attitude. We talk about identity. This team didn't have an identity. Well, in looking at what happened today, if you have someone like Marcus Smart who comes in and is ferocious and is giving you a little bit of an identity of being scrappy, now you have that developing. They're not going to be a shutdown defensive team, which anyway, it's not going to happen in the NBA anyways. They don't allow you to do that anymore. But if you can just maintain your composure on defense enough to where you can make some stops in key moments, then you can take advantage of those things on offense, especially when you have someone like Luka who's cooking. Rui was hitting his shots. Austin Reeves was doing very, very, very well. LaRavia looked like he's getting his feet under him. I think we want to wait. We want to wait for him to get maybe about 20, 30 games in before you start really evaluating what he was doing. His energy wasn't too bad either. He was a plus 14 tonight, played 28 minutes. Didn't score a lot, but I saw him in a lot of things, which was good. And then DeAndre Ayton is not a superstar, but he is a solid and a young center.
And he fits next to Luka.
And yeah, as long as you towards the end of the fourth, that was pretty much. I think it was the clear path to the basket where I don't know what happened with Minnesota's defense there, but when Luka found him underneath the basket for a dunk, that was like, those are the type of things that when you talk about Luka and you talk about somebody like DeAndre Ayton in terms of him being motivated to play, you give that kind of basket 3 or 4 times a game, you're gonna get a lot more effort from that guy.
Absolutely.
So it was a good night. Good night. A lot of reasons why they played well. A lot of reasons why Minnesota didn't play well. But in the end, winning is winning, and that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
For today, though, again, the Lakers do get the victory, 128-110. And here today, also, good man in need popping in before he heads out to Slumberland because he's on the East Coast. Good man indeed. It is, of course, legend. You got the close victory over the Orlando Magic with your Atlanta Hawks. Your Golden State Warriors, I think that you surmised about this with the Golden State Warriors. They are going to look old on back-to-backs.
Yep.
It's just that simple. So days like these are they're just going to be par for the course because, these guys 35 and older, even with Curry going off, they're just not going to have the kind of energy. Most of these teams don't have the kind of energy, but when you got an even older team like Golden State, that's pretty much what you're going to expect, no matter where they head to for that back-to-back. So your thoughts on that, but also Luka scoring at such a high level, how long do you think he can maintain this kind of brilliance that he's starting off the season with?
I guess I do the Warriors part first. I would say not too surprising that they lost today. I kind of expected it would probably be a loss, being that they the Golden State Warriors, back-to-back, old team. That's kind of what you expect with an older team. And like you said, Gerald, that's going to be part of it this season. So I don't expect them to win a lot of back-to-backs. And then for Luka, man, what can you say? So what happens when you get in shape? You start balling up.
Right.
That's what happens. When you
Right.
get in shape, take it serious, and go to the next level. That's MVP stats. That's MVP type of stats. That's why I said this man should win MVP. Especially when LeBron is out like this is going to give you that momentum. And this is what he's going to have to do, especially when the bench doesn't always show up. So this is going to take performances like this to make up for whatever the bench doesn't do. But Austin Reeves had a pretty good game tonight as well. And overall, the team did pretty good. They look a whole lot better than that very first game.
Legend, now you know how we felt after that first game. Your one player does absolutely everything that they possibly could. I seen that they were saying Curry shot 68%, and y'all still took the loss because the others around him didn't show up. That's how we felt after that Warriors game when Luka put up 43 points and 12 assists, and 12 rebounds, I think, and we still lost. I just had to make sure you know how we felt after that first.
I know how y'all feel for sure.
No, for sure. It's good to see you, legend. And I just want to say what's up to Deshaun. And I know Deshaun here in the chat, showing some love. What's up, Deshaun? Appreciate you being here. Great Lakers win. Everybody's happy when it's a Lakers win, Gerald. Everybody's coming on the stream.
I know. I tell you, I love it. I love it. But it's so funny because Butler is feasting on the free throw line. He's got 34 free throw attempts in 3 games. Just to let you know, legend. But he didn't do anything else for you besides get to the free throw line, and that's the problem right there.
Oh yeah, that's all he did.
But you mentioned, legend, the bench production for the Lakers. Today they were able to get away with it because the starting lineup was so productive. Joe, before we get into the guys, as far as I'm going to ask you a question later on about the Lakers when it comes to the guys that are really trying to get their next contract and whatnot, but they were able to get away with only 11 points of productivity coming off the bench. And again, when you're scoring 128 overall and only 11 are by the bench, I mean, I guess we could go ahead and gloss over it for now, but this is like last year all over again, where you just, if they could just find more consistency from that bench and how much easier that makes it, because again, you're asking Luka and also as well Rui and also as well Austin to play really heavy minutes because you just don't have enough waiting behind them.
I think your hope for the bench to play better or be better is just not gonna happen. This team is extremely top heavy. The team wasn't built to be stretched out. There's too much money that's tied into the top heavy guys, which is LeBron and Luka. And the way the system is, they can't go get somebody that could be a good bench player that they can bring out and give them a little bit of a chance to do what they need to do. They were not drafting guys that were able to help them. So this is the part where when you draft well, those are the guys that can be productive bench guys. So when you look at guys that are coming off the bench that are valuable, you look at guys like Naz Reid before he became a quote unquote starter or whatever. You look at the Browns or the Browns in Denver. Look at his contract now. He's got a 5-year, $25 million contract, right? Or 4 years, sorry.
Per year, by the way.
Per year, yeah. So the Lakers have not been good lately in getting talent where they can get it either through free agency or through the draft, preferably through the draft. So now your depth is limited. Now Laravia may be an asset, but we don't know yet. It's too early. Jackson Hayes is Jackson Hayes. We don't know what's going to happen there. Is Marcus Smart going to be that guy? Sure, it could be, but I think he's going to be needed in the starting lineup at some point if he continues to play like this, because he's going to balance that team out versus having somebody like Gabe Vincent who can't guard Jimmy Butler, who can't guard Anthony Edwards. You have to put somebody in there that can at least contain those guys to some degree instead of getting destroyed. We know that Austin Reeves is not going to be able to guard those guys either. So what's the decision going to be here? Who's going to come off the bench that's going to help, and who's going to stay in prime time at the end of games when it matters? There's a lot of work that needs to get done by JJ Redick to see what will flow and what will be consistent and what will give this team an identity. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to play 48 minutes of consistent basketball without struggling in a lot of it.
Thank you to John earlier today for becoming a member, and thank you to Paula for subscribing. Truly appreciate you joining us. Again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Joe Soro, John Costa, legend, right here for you. Once again, the Lakers win 128-110. They go to 1-1 on the season. John, I'm going to ask this question later on to Joe, but you have, again, with not much of a bench, you're leaning heavy on that starting lineup. And today, we got better productivity from the second and third options on this team. Because Rui didn't have a great game on Tuesday, and Austin for 3.5 quarters just wasn't really much of a factor until he stat padded close to the end of that game. I want to ask your thoughts today. Both of those guys came out really motivated, 4 quarters, really solid play. If Luka wasn't having the ball, Austin was finding good ways to go ahead and score or make good decisions. 11 assists for him. He actually, if Luka doesn't get that 30-point plus triple double that Joe was talking about, maybe a good reason is because Austin might be getting double digits in assists ahead of him because he is made some really good decisions with his passing tonight. But how important is it for those guys in their contract year, 2 of 8 guys that are in their contract year, to go ahead and play at this kind of level consistently for the Lakers moving forward?
I mean, for the Lakers, it's extremely important. I mean, it's important both ways. For the Lakers, it's important because what I don't want to do is I don't want to waste Luka Doncic, like a prime Luka Doncic year. I mean, we've seen what the man's doing. In the first 2 games in the season, the man's putting up not only franchise historic numbers, but just league historic numbers, right? So I don't want to waste a prime Luka Doncic year just because we don't have the right help around him, or even the players that we do have around him aren't performing. So like that's first on the Lakers side of things. But on the personal side of things, I mean, they mess up this year, like you're messing up your own bag. You're messing up your own future bags, whether it's with the Lakers or whether it's with other teams around the league. Whenever you're in your contract year, every game you got is a tryout game. Every possession a team is watching. So it's huge for their finances, huge for them personally. It's huge for our team, so we don't waste the prime year of Luka Doncic. But as far as everybody else stepping up tonight, I love to see it. Rui stepped up in the way that we need of him. DeAndre Ayton stepped up in the way we need of him. Exactly what Joe was talking about with the whole Jake LaRavia thing. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about Jake. Like, he hasn't done one thing yet that I'm like, oh, okay. This is gonna be his role. This is gonna
Or that's why they brought him in.
right. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Right. Like every single other player, whether it's been just a little bit, whether it's been once or twice, like whether it's been Ayton or whether it's been Smart or whatever it is, I'm like, okay, like I understand why they brought him in. Okay, I understand what the vision is, but nah, like with Jake LaRavia, I don't understand what the vision is besides that's Austin Reeves' boy, and Austin Reeves is just trying to make it happen. That's the only thing I see. They was working out together. A week later, he signed with the Lakers. I was like, oh, all right. I didn't know you just works off being a friend. I need to befriend Austin Reeves then. So all I'm saying is, look, I don't really like what I'm seeing from Jake. To Joe's point, I'll give him a little bit more time. I think 30 games might be a little bit too much. I think 30 games might be because we're not asking for him to be a 15-point per game scorer or anything like that. So I think 30 games at least for me might be a little bit much, but I'm going to need to see more from him. But all the other role players definitely brought it tonight. And I even think this was a mediocre game for Ayton, to be real with you, because 15-8, like I'll be honest with you, I think he can easily have a solid 20 and 10. I'm gonna be honest. Maybe y'all think I'm crazy, but I really think Luka can really elevate his game, and he'll have an easy 8 to 10 points every game off just simply rolling to the basket and the defense doubling Luka, and then him just being right there, and then the other 10 his little post hooks, his little middies. But everybody about it though, absolutely.
So let me go ahead and ask you this, Legend. One of the things I saw again, really solid game from Anthony Edwards, but and also Randall chipped in with 25 himself, and they had 31, but they needed more from their secondary players as well. And one of the things I find surprising, the most surprising thing when I look at the box score, and I remember back at the game, was last year in the draft, they took 2 players in the first round that they thought could really develop into the backcourt of the future. Terrence Shannon Jr. and Rob Dillingham. Terrence Shannon Jr. even played some pretty decent minutes for them in the playoffs. Flash forward to this season, and guess how many minutes Rob Dillingham has played so far this season, Legend?
It's been pretty low. Much to nothing.
Try 1.
Damn. Did he only just play tonight? Did he get a DNP last game?
Yep.
Damn.
I don't know what happened there. And he was their future. And he played quite a bit during the preseason. And He was supposed to take over that role for Conley. Instead, DiVincenzo was put into that starting point guard mix. And Terrence Shannon Jr. only played about 13, 14 minutes himself, which I ask you, Legend, those two are supposed to be the foundation of your future. And in their second year, they're supposed to take that next step. What does that tell you when it doesn't seem like the coach right now has a whole lot of confidence in either one of those kids?
If your coach don't have that much confidence in you, and then at this point, that's probably a sign letting you know that there's a very good chance they're not going to pan out the way you want them to. Because by now you start seeing the flashes. If something is there, the flashes be showing, and you're not seeing it. If you're not seeing the flashes, well, pretty much trying to tell you this may not be the move. This may not work out. So I hope it works out, but it happens. It ain't not happening with these rookies when you picking them. At the end of the day, you're taking a chance. When you pick them, you don't know what you're getting until you see about a year or two. By year 2, you still ain't showed up, then it's probably not coming at this point. It's not going to show up.
It's just very weird how they're playing this out, because if you're the GM, who we talked about frequently, hoping that he would be available, that maybe the Lakers could be interested in, Joe, you draft these guys. Just like the Lakers, they drafted Dalton Knecht, and you see him playing garbage minutes today because you realize he hasn't developed. They put him out there early in the first half, and all it took was just one play for Anthony Edwards to get an and one on him, and then you realize why Dalton Knecht is where he's at. With Minnesota, those guys are young, athletic. In the case of Dillingham, it's supposed to be a scoring mentality as a point guard. With Terrence Shannon Jr., supposed to be athletic with some size and also a pretty decent shooting ability. I've seen these guys in summer league, in other ways, and they just what happens if you're the GM and you see guys that you drafted and you don't see them develop like you think they should?
The Dalton Knecht fiasco is depressing. There was so much promise. There was so much excitement getting him where they got him. He had a few 30-point games. The confidence was there. He's got an NBA body. He could shoot. And then Rob Pelinka pretty much blew the tires off him. And it's something that just, I don't know if it's going to get fixed. It's the draft becomes even worse that year. You basically had 2 draft picks that you wasted. One that was your fault and one that was your fault 100%.
And what happened this year, Joe? They moved up twice.
And then this year, you move up to a second-round pick.
Twice.
Sure. I guess you can see the failure in that. But to me, there was 2 distinct slots that year that you made a good decision, I believe, in the first round, but you ended up soiling it by rescinding the trade. And then you drafted a player that we saw tonight for about 2 minutes that looked worse than he did last year. That seems to be some kind of stubborn ass thinking on this thing that just keeps putting this problem in. Bronny James needs to go away and never come back. I do not want to see him on an NBA court. Not in a Laker uniform anyways. You want to send him to Charlotte and let him play there? Fine. But he does not belong anywhere near an NBA court as an NBA player. I'm sorry. Stop putting him in there even in garbage time. You're embarrassing the team, especially after what we watched tonight. We watched Luka Doncic play. We saw Austin Reeves play. We saw Marcus Smart play. We saw Anthony Edwards play. These guys are NBA stars. And some of those guys are NBA perennial superstars. stop putting guys in that don't belong here, especially Lakers, especially the Lakers. It's like getting ridiculous now. Enough is enough.
And
I
before
agree.
you go, I got one last question for you,
Mhm.
John, because I know you got to go ahead and do your game report. So, what does it mean? It was the when you see LeBron sitting there on the sideline, repping his other son's jersey. Is it just to troll Joe that possibility of Bryce joining the team next year could happen, or just the dear old dad rooting on for his dear old son?
I hope it's a dear old dad rooting on for his son. I hope we don't allow this to happen.
Dumbest question I think I've heard tonight.
Jeez, Joe.
Because I was
Jesus
expecting
Christ.
that kind of response.
That was
There
a
you go.
stupid question.
It was not. It was actually
It
to
was
troll
a
you.
dumb question.
It was a good host
Is he
question.
just
That's a good
repping? He
host
doesn't know who the hell I am. Why? Of course he's repping his son.
question. Oh,
But I wanted that kind of answer
That's
from you,
hilarious.
so I got exactly
You
what I
should be
wanted.
ashamed of yourself.
No, I'm not. I'm actually patting myself on
You
the
shouldn't,
back.
Pat. That was a terrible question.
No, that was a good question because
I
it
would
pissed me
fire
off.
myself if I had asked that
Well,
kind of a
you
question.
fire yourself right now.
I would have
by all
slapped
means.
myself in the face if I had asked
Then
that question.
go right ahead. I'll watch.
This is gold content right here. I am about to hop to do my 3-minute recap. So I appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate Gerald. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Legend. Thank you, everybody here in the chat. Appreciate all you guys. If you guys do want to follow anything that I got going on, I did just drop my Lakers page right there in the chat, and then also Search and Destroy, the best mod out here. Also dropped a link to my YouTube page. You can follow me on Instagram. It's Lakers_corner. We're climbing on there, almost at 7,000 followers, and then TikTok almost at 8,000. That's Lakers Corner 24, and then Twitter is at the Lakers Corner. But I appreciate everybody letting me be here, and I'll see you boys on Sunday. Great game.
Legend. Thank you, John. Truly
Thank you.
appreciate it.
See ya.
As always, Lakers Corner. Go ahead and check out his reports. Legend, before I get it to you, on top of that, Seth Alexander says, Joe, you were sounding like a little kid. Seth, you're not familiar with what Joe has said about Bronny over the years. I'll just tell you that. But he says you're
Seth, don't come in here and start talking to me like you're a parent. Sit down, shut up, listen to the show for a few more times, then you'll get the shtick. Sit here telling me what to do. Who cares? We won. What do you pat yourself on the back when you get a nice little prize at the fair? Like, seriously, like, take it easy. You don't need to talk to me. You don't need to talk like that. This guy over here.
Legend.
We did our best and we won. Good for us. Good for you. You should be happy. Thank you. Thank you for that pat on the back there, Mr. Alexander.
Legend, let me bring it back to you. In this Western Conference, which is supposed to be really tight, getting off to a good start could be a key for a lot of these teams. What's one of the most surprising things you've seen? Because while we talked about what's going on with your Golden State Warriors, Atlanta in the East, we've talked about San Antonio, Wemby dominating, pulling it out at overtime, so they're 2-0. One of the things we've kind of overlooked so far is Houston and Dallas at 0-2. Dallas, you could hear the audible chants of fire Nico, as they lost by 10 to Washington.
Ooh.
Of all teams tonight. And Houston did lose at home as well to the Pistons. So your thoughts on that, Legend?
I won't say hit the panic button just yet because there's 2 games, but yeah, probably not the start that you want if you was a Rockets fan or anything right now. So I would say they're still figuring stuff out, and I think it's gonna take them some time to really start clicking the way people expect the Rockets to start clicking. So it's gonna take them some time to figure it out right now, but I think they'll be okay overall. It's just gonna take some time, but I can at least say Kevin Durant is definitely putting up some numbers over there. I can at least say that much. Putting up some numbers, just can't get the win right now.
He was slowed down in that first game in the second half noticeably. So I know that for him, it's going to be a little bit harder to create points at age 37 and whatnot. But like you said today, 37 for him, but it wasn't enough. Maybe the point guard is an issue. As far as Thompson today did not have the kind of game that they're hoping for today, just kind of a pedestrian game. So yeah, just something to think about, because Houston was by many of us picked by as one of the top teams in the West, but also Dallas, Joe. Interesting to see what's going on after 2 games. They got dismantled by Wemby on one format for their first game, and tonight they got surprised tonight by Washington at home as
Seth,
yeah.
listen. Let me
Here we
explain
go.
something to you, okay? You're not the first one to come onto a show for the first time and say the stupid, unoriginal line of "you act like a little kid throwing a tantrum." Okay, if you're really that upset that I'm irritated by a non-NBA player playing in the NBA, then you have your own problems to deal with. You're probably one of those people that go outside in your life and you're happy. You're everything's gonna be okay. Good for you. Go ahead and do that. Me, fuck you. Fuck what you think. I'm gonna do what I do. You want to call it a tantrum? That's on you. But I also am going to come at you with some shit. So shut the fuck up, watch the show, enjoy it or don't, or get the fuck out. There you go. So what was the question again?
No, just stating how it's so great how I can retain viewers like this. But I will just say this. I'm going to bring it back to Robert Wheeler. Joe, could you see Marcus Smart entering the starting lineup at some point during the season to allow for Gabe Vincent so he can shoot his threes easier going against bench players?
I don't think there's a lot to offer the Lakers with Gabe Vincent. I think he'll have spurts, but that's about it. He's just not big enough to guard the necessary skilled players. He's not a consistent enough shooter. He's not healthy enough for an 82-game season, and he's just not that determined and that highly paid enough to be a guy that likely will be a difference maker when it really matters. And that's just what that is. He's a minutes compiler at this point. That's kind of all I see there. And it's not his fault. It's just what it is. It is what it is. That's all I see there.
Dripso says, I think he's trolling you. Joe, Bronny is a Laker for life.
Drip Show had an issue with his phone. He was upset tonight, so we gotta support Drip Show.
Yes, always,
and let him know that we're here to back him up until it gets fixed.
No Joker, appreciate the super chat. He is a big Vandos. He is on Vando Hill. We will go ahead and acknowledge that.
There is no Vando Hill.
There is.
No, there isn't.
Jamie,
that hill
Jeff,
died a long time ago.
Well, then tell that to Jamie and Jeff and No Joker, because they're on Vando Hill. But Legend, tonight again, you saw the variances in Vando's game at this point, playing small ball center, providing 7 rebounds, and actually holding himself for the most part pretty well against the larger and taller Minnesota Timberwolves. 2 block shots as well. But you also see on the flip side what happens when you have a one-sided, one-dimensional player, because he has yet to give you – he's not yet to make any shots so far this season. He has made some free throws, a free throw or 2, something like that. But yes, he has done that at the free throw line. But offensively, it's still a lost in action type scenario. So what happens when you have that type of individual who is pretty good on one side, but pretty bad on the other?
I mean, that situation, you're gonna have to make the change when you need to. When you need offense, you're gonna have to bring somebody in who can give you some scoring, and then vice versa. Swap back out. You need some defense. The best thing in this situation is, you're just gonna have to swap in and out based on just what's going on in the game and based on the current situation. I mean, that's why they say it's so hard to find a two-way wing, somebody who play on both sides of the ball, just because of it's so good and so convenient to have that. But it just ain't that many type of guys like that now in the league. So maybe, Vando might develop a 3-point shot, maybe eventually over time. I mean, Aaron Gordon did. He developed a heck of a good jumper.
McDaniels is the key. Yeah, like there. He and Vando, they were on that similar path, similar styles. And McDaniels actually developed a 3-pointer. Like you said, Aaron Gordon. Yeah, last year he transformed from a guy who was just chucking up 3-pointers in Orlando that wasn't, hitting at 32, 33% rate to now a 40+%. Last night he hit 10 3-pointers. I was lucky enough to get him on 4 of my different fantasy basketball leagues because he was just out there, and I'm like, okay, I'll grab him. But I'm hoping that's the case. But yeah, already in his 8th season, Joe, Vando is still going to be an issue because you could probably get away with it for the most part in the regular season, but when it comes to matchups, when it comes to in the playoffs, as we've seen before, Vando is just a hard sell to play and give you meaningful time when it counts.
Yeah, that's true. It's just gonna be hard to play him at key moments just because of that lack of offense. But I'm just gonna hope that over time, that just like Aaron Gordon, he'll develop it as he put more and more work into it. But depending too on the clock, how much time you can wait on him. He's been there for a couple of years, and you would think by now it would be at least decent, at least respectable, and it still haven't gotten there yet. So kind of depend on how long, as the new people coming in for the Lakers, are they willing to wait on him, or just gonna ship him out and go get somebody who can already give it to you right here and right now. Just like he's playing for a situation like everybody else right now. So you better find that jump shot at some point. Kind of hard to play people on one side of the ball.
Yeah, and like I said, when it becomes important, it does get increasingly more difficult to do just that. But I'm rooting for Vando. Let's see if he can go ahead and help us out and get those minutes out there and be able to provide something on the defensive end and hopefully at least a little something on the offensive end as well. But Joe, of course, our next game is at Sacramento. What is an acceptable period as far as, let's say LeBron is out 15? What do you think? 15 games? Do you want to call 15 games? What do you think is acceptable for the Lakers, you think, during this time period while LeBron is out as far as record-wise? Appreciate it, legend.
If Luka's playing the way he's playing, I would like to see if they can go 10-5.
Okay.
They didn't beat they didn't beat a marginal team tonight. They beat a team that had gone to the Western Conference Finals back-to-back years. So it was very encouraging, even though I do think that Minnesota did come in already with not a ready mindset. I think they thought they would just come in and beat the Lakers easily. But Luka is going to be able to really, really save them in a lot of games just because of his ability to do anything he wants on the court. The fear that the other team has against him plays a huge factor in the mental game there too. It's a distraction for whatever team comes in. If they can go 10-5, that's a very encouraging record. Extremely encouraging. 9-6, maybe even, if you can do that. But 10-5 to me is the sweet spot. It's the sweet number. You're sitting there, you're like, after 15 games with new guys playing together, building a little bit of an identity, maybe building a little bit of chemistry, get the wrinkles out, whatever it is. Hey, 10 out of 15 before LeBron gets back. I think that's a really, really good start to getting a season where we're still kind of in the 50-50 range in terms of what's going to happen.
And if we continue to see struggling from Houston and Dallas, 2 teams that were actually thought of in the mix as far as the playoff mix, if they get off to bad starts, it helps the Lakers even more if they could get off to, like you said, a 10-5 start, because that could keep them very much in the mix until LeBron comes in, and hopefully that will give them the jump to go even more, even higher, even better, even closer to the top of the Western Conference, Joe.
It's just I don't know if really being able to gauge. I'm not really gauging anything right now after a couple games. I think that what have you done for me lately generation of the world right now is after the first game, all of a sudden I'm seeing videos of Wembanyama being the greatest basketball player of all time.
Awful coaching.
It's
That was a great game.
It's ridiculous. Tonight, the Dodgers get beat, and now all of a sudden they're the worst team in the major league history. Let it play out a little bit. Let's see what happens after 20, 30 games before we start assessing who's great and who's not and who's going to be consistent and who isn't. Houston played a very good game against Oklahoma City in game one. If a couple of things go their way, they upset Oklahoma City. And that wasn't one of those games where you could see Oklahoma City's reeling from getting their rings. No, Oklahoma City played that night. And they played a lot. And each guy was missing an important piece, too, that night. So you can't just say, oh, well, Jalen Williams isn't playing. Well, Fred VanVleet wasn't playing either. And he's a champion, important piece to championship team and chemistry. So let this thing play out a little bit. I'm not going to really go into the details on who's what and what. We know Wemby's going to be likely a first-team All-NBA. Knock on wood, he doesn't get injured. He's going to be a star. He's going to be a multiple MVP performer. Matter of fact, I think him and Luka are going to be trading MVPs here in the next 5 to 6 years. So, but we still need to let this play out a little bit.
And again, as Dominic put it, they traded Luka, and he's 26. And again, as he continues to progress, he looks in great shape. You saw what he did tonight out there. Once again, almost another triple-double for him. That's 2 close triple-doubles in a row, at least close to it tonight with 49, 11, and 8. Absolutely playing at a really great level. And you just want to make sure that the Lakers have a good team, a good enough team to surround it. But because of the restrictions on the salary cap going forward, it's going to be hard for the Lakers to build anything right away, especially with the expiring contracts that they have that probably won't become more valuable to other teams until around the trade deadline. So the Lakers pretty much will have what you see right there, barring any more injuries. The thing is, though, Joe, DeAndre Ayton tonight, nothing really stood out, but nothing really looked too bad when it came to Ayton. 15 and 8 and a block shot. His motor, I know that we talked about on playback, doesn't always rev to the highest rev, but it just seems like he goes through his own motions, cruises at his own speed. And if you're able to work with him, as Luka found him a little bit better tonight, both Austin and Luka found him a little easier in spots tonight on the offensive end. It looks like as they become more accustomed to each other, it looks like it can get a little bit better and better for the Lakers with DeAndre Ayton.
He's better than anything you can get for nothing. And that's the way you have to look at it. He doesn't have a motor that you want him to have. He doesn't. He's similar and he's kind of like Wiggins out down in Miami. He has this sleepy way of playing, and there's nothing you can really do about it. So use the little talent that he does have and know that it's better than anything you can get for free, which is what they got him for. And that's how you got to look at it. I don't know any other way to look at it. Like he's not going to be Wembanyama, right? Energy. He's not going to be he's not going to be a Dwight Howard, guy that can jump out the building, guy that's constantly going back and forth and blocking shots and dunking all over the place. You're not going to get that player from him. It's unfortunate, but if he did do those type of things, he would have never been a Laker anyway. So take what you can get right now from that. It is nice that you do have a legitimate starting center who was able to give you 15 points and play 31 minutes and also threw in 8 rebounds and a block. I think that's a pretty good return on a free player.
Right now, Austin Reeves, again, providing some really great support for the Lakers as the number 2. Today, 25 points, 11 assists, 7 rebounds. Joe, I understand that the numbers can't always stay this high, especially with LeBron when LeBron comes back and whatnot. But this looks like a guy after 2 games that really is setting out determined to show that he might be worth all the money that could be coming to him in the offseason. I know you said, and I said, that we would only go a certain amount as far as to what we would pay him to retain his services. If he continues to play like this, that amount could have to get higher and higher if the Lakers wish to retain him.
Sometimes the timing won't work for you. Sometimes it does. The Lakers have to make a decision when the time comes. I'm not really going to worry too much about it, though. If Austin Reeves is your second best player and your second highest player in terms of payroll going into 2026, 2027, that's not a good building block. It's just what it is. If you want to sign him thinking, well, the salary cap's going to be going up 7% to 10% every year, and you're going to have enough money to go sign the second guy a year later, and then Austin could be your quote unquote third guy. Okay, I can at that point you can kind of roll with that a little bit, but you're going to have to get that second guy. Who that guy is, we're still waiting on what's going to happen. Is it going to be someone that demands to be traded to LA, and when the Lakers can actually pay the guy and create a trade exemption maybe for him because they're under the cap, or are they going to have a star like a Jokic or a Giannis in the summer of 2027 that have the option of opting out and then come in here as a free agent and not having to give up anything? That's the other thing too, is can you get the next big star without giving up anything? Because that's really what the Lakers need. That's why 2027 is the date. I want to see if there's anybody that's going to opt out and say, look, I have a max contract waiting for me in LA to go play with Luka. Maybe I should make that an option. Maybe I should investigate that a little bit, especially with the new ownership coming in. Especially with the new owner coming in. Because we've seen what's gone on in LA with the Dodgers. A lot of guys that weren't wanted by other teams, and even guys that were going to get paid more money by other teams, still chose the Dodgers. And it's not just because of the money sometimes. They're already making a crap load of money. A lot of times as well, we want to compete. We want to be in October, deep into October, playing baseball and making a lot of money and being, a part of something special, which is what they're doing right now. And the Lakers right now have one building block and a couple little small building blocks too, with guys like Rui, guys like Austin. I'm not going to downgrade them. They're valuable players for a championship team, but it's in terms of the position that they would be in, that's important. I would prefer them to be the guys that are complementary types that are really talented versus guys that are going to be expected to be the stars, because they're not the superstars. They're not the perennial future Hall of Fame guys. They are going to be pillars, smaller pillars of a championship run, the glue guys.
I'll just say this, again, a good performance from the Lakers today, and we'll see how this works out as they head on the road to Sacramento for their next game. Lakers win 128-110. They're 1-1 on the season. But before we head on out, Joe, I know today was not a great day for you as far as from the Dodgers end. Dodgers in game one, falling 11-4. There was a point in time where they had the bases loaded on a rookie pitcher and just didn't get it done. And you thought, oh, maybe the momentum was going to swing in the wrong direction. And eventually it did. Your thoughts on today's game? And like you talked about, so many people have already just excused the Dodgers already as far as not winning the title at all. They are in Toronto. If they split in Toronto and head back to LA tied 1-1, that changes the complex of everything that people are thinking about when it comes to the World Series, and why the Dodgers will, if that's the case, will gain back all that momentum.
Well, it's baseball's a funny sport. It when you look at the history of baseball, guys like Aaron Judge, Ohtani, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens that come to mind. Kershaw, although Kershaw went a little bit even. Kershaw, because the Dodgers were perennial playoff contenders, he got the meat of it even more, right? Most stars, from my experience in watching the greatest of baseball in my time, the Clemens, the Bonds, the Shoheis, the Aaron Judges, they struggle in the playoffs because there are holes in their game that don't allow them to be the same as they are in the regular season. And it's something that is not, there's a lot more concentration with the other team than not have that person be effective. And it's easy to do that sometimes because the star players in baseball, they only have a few chances during the game to make an impression. A everyday batter only can really give likely four at bats to make a difference. A pitcher can only give you one every 5 days or 4 days, depending on the scenario of that series. So how is the best player on your team going to be that guy, right? It's difficult. It's very difficult. So tonight, the Dodgers had a lot of opportunities to score runs. They didn't, and it's been something that they've actually been having issues with all series long. The difference, though, is the pitching has been great to the point where they were going 7 or 8 innings, even 9 innings in one of the games, and they've been able to battle out of it, even with a couple of last inning type scenarios where they were able to win. Tomorrow, what I'd like to see them do is I'd like to see them challenge Toronto and stop pitching around the box, and that's the strike zone, the zone, and bring what I believe Yamamoto is going to be able to bring, which is ace stuff. And maybe tonight it was just the fact that you had a pitcher that didn't pitch in 2 weeks. I don't know. Maybe that played a factor in it. He didn't allow any runs until what, the fifth inning? Dodgers scored 2 runs when they should have had 5. You have batters that are swinging at ball 4s when it would have brought you in a couple of runs if you hadn't. Those are the type of things that can happen. And Toronto had a historic inning. They scored 9 runs in an inning. That doesn't happen in playoff baseball typically, but they got it done. If the Dodgers win tomorrow, it will bode very well for them because now they're going to go 3 straight at home. I don't know if they're going to win all 3 straight at home. I don't know. The feeling was based off of how they've been playing, beating Philly, beating the Brewers the way they did. Yeah, they have a very good opportunity to probably win this in 4 and 5. But I'll probably know more really after game 3. Because if they lose a close one to Toronto tomorrow, it's still Toronto winning 2 home games. Can the Dodgers win at home? That's going to be the question. Can they win game 3 and game 4 to tie the series up? Home field in baseball sometimes isn't as important as it is in football. Hockey's kind of the same way. But I find it hilarious that after 1 game, the Dodgers all of a sudden have the worst team that's ever existed. I thought that was kind of funny, and I think that's probably what's calmed me out of the nonsense. I'm like, you have Blue Jay fans who've already anointed their team the champions, and I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens there.
Div, before you grant the Larry O'Brien Trophy to the Lakers this season, get your facts straight. I said that Luka was going to have an MVP-like level season, which means he would be carrying the Lakers to any record that they have. If you think they're going to win this title, that's fine. We actually did have one individual that did pick the Lakers out of our group to win the title this year. So before you get your facts incorrect, because you did, please just calm down. It's 1 game. It's game 2. He's averaging over 40 plus. He's having a sensational season. If he stays healthy and keeps continuing playing like this, he will be among the top players in the league. And whether I believe you or not, that's irregardless. But Yes, just like Joe said, when the Dodgers just won, that they're going to get swept. You can't say the Lakers after one game are going to win the title. If you believe that, fine, absolutely. But again, it is one game. Let's see what the Lakers can do going forward. And when LeBron comes back, and hopefully he'll even help the team even more. So calm down. Stop shouting in the chat because nobody likes shouters in the chat. And understand and calm down. It's game 2. There's 80 more to go. I really think that Luka's going to have a sensational season. He's going to be at an MVP-like level. It all depends on where the Lakers will be in the Western Conference for him, whether or not to get MVP. And that also determine how far the Lakers will go in the playoffs.
Yay! A subscriber!
Thank you, young Lito, for subscribing. Truly appreciate it. It is the Lakers Fast Break. Cannot thank you enough for subscribing and being part of what we do here. Tomorrow at 11 a.m., the Lakerholics crew will get together at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. But Joe, again, another great performance by Luka. It is so encouraging to see. Again, as what was mentioned by Div, he is going to have to carry this team. But it's so great when you have that kind of support. I think the Luka and his level of greatness, it's just there. It's going to stay there, and it's going to remain there throughout. But when it comes to the other guys, Austin and Rui, it is so key for them, especially with LeBron out, to play like they did today.
Yeah, and I think that's obvious. There's a lot of work to do still. Try to win the games you're supposed to win. Tonight, they weren't supposed to win the game, really, because Minnesota's a very good team. But it's nice to be able to win this game and then have the ability to understand, hey, we got arguably probably one of the 2 best players in the league in Luka Doncic. And I know there's guys coming up as well, but Luka Doncic is, I have no doubt he's one of the 2 best players in the league behind Jokic. Behind Jokic or in front of Jokic, depending on what's going on. Wemby's starting to creep up, though. Anthony Edwards has the say somewhere in there as well. SGA, obviously, he's the MVP. I want to enjoy this win tonight, and I want to enjoy what we're watching. We're watching about to hit his prime playing for the Lakers. When have we seen that before? Plenty of times being a Laker fan. And I know that this is a building block because this team has a lot to do. And the new ownership's going to be coming in about a month. I'm preparing for the long haul here. And it's not going to be a long haul. It's going to be probably a year or 2 before you start saying, okay, we're going to go into an off season where the Lakers are, or you're going to get out of an off season where you're going to go into training camp going, the Lakers are absolutely going to be a title contender for sure for the next 5 years.
Ethan44 says, do you think the Lakers defense can play good enough for us to make a run this year? Plus, you said no? Okay. No. And second of all, do you think that Luka and AR-15 are the future backcourt for the Lakers from Ethan44?
They could be. They could be, yes, but you're going to have to equip them with thoroughbreds behind them. If you're gonna play ball with Austin and Luka in the backcourt, 2 guys that have 0 defensive skills and play the same way, you better have athletes behind you backing them up. Otherwise, it's going to be a turnstile for the next 5 to 10 years. Okay. So here, I'll give you an example. Remember we talked about Leandro Barbosa, right?
Yes.
Now, he was mainly a bench player, but when he was in there with Steve Nash, one of the things in terms of talking about the greatness of Phil Jackson and things he exploited that backcourt when it was in there. Yeah, Barbosa was a problem on offense. Obviously, Steve Nash was a problem on offense. But where they sort of even things out, especially with a out-of-this-world Kobe Bryant in his prime times 400, they were able to exploit that over and over again and were 1 rebound away from beating a very good Phoenix Suns team with Smush Parker and Kwame Brown in that. Oh, and Luke Walton, too, in that starting lineup. Just think about that for a second. So I would not build it.
The eternally damned Smush Parker.
I will not build a backcourt, in my view, with Austin being a starter with Luka. It's just not going to work in big games. It will not work. You will get exploited unless you have a Dwight Howard behind you and you have like a Jalen Williams or who's a really good, or like a Kawhi Leonard type that's behind you guys. There's no other way.
Some type of ball hawk that could really, play the type of.
Who's young Lito calling me a bozo? Hey, young Lito, would you have the balls to say that to my face? I don't think you do. I don't think you would.
That's two. You got pissed off at you tonight.
Yeah. That's half of the job on this show is to piss little bitches off.
As soon as we bring them in, you send them away.
Yeah. Bozo Joe speaking, because they think this is Discord, right? Where they can slam their hams and just yap at anybody because they're behind the little computer.
No Joker has a question. Again, No Joker, truly appreciate it. We always kid you on your love of Vando, but man, we're just so thankful that you're here. What's the average defensive rating in the NBA of the third best player on a team? Anyone ever figure that one out? I would go to some of those. There's like 2 or 3 really good statistical sites that you can go to. No Joker. I think you do have to go behind a paywall though. But there are really good sites out there. I gotta ask Sean that when I get a chance, because Sean, I think it subscribes to at least one of those outlets that actually has all those specific numbers in detail that could go ahead into it for you. Cleaning the glass is the one that always comes to mind. Young Lito says, you realize that Luka is a point guard on defense, right? Because today he was guarding for a little bit Anthony Edwards, which concerns me because obviously Anthony Edwards was really hot in that first half, and when he wasn't roasting Gabe, he wasn't making life easy for Luka.
What's with the tone?
You just made him mad.
What's with the tone? You do realize he doesn't guard the point guard, right? Well, who's he guard? His dick? Who do you want him to guard? Wembanyama? Is that who he's going to guard when he plays San Antonio? Or how about Stephon Castle? How about that? Is that who he's going to guard? I understand it's a positionless game these days, even on defense, but Luka Doncic guards typically. He's not going to guard wings. How do you expect a guy who's not strong in playing defense to go guard an Anthony Edwards or a Kawhi Leonard?
Ethan, that's a great question. So what should the Lakers do? Because this is obviously Luka's team. And you mentioned it before.
You are a bozo. You're a fucking ass clown bozo. I want to know, when did Luka guard Kawhi Leonard when they play the Clippers? Did he play against? I'm serious. I'm asking these questions. When does he guard threes on purpose? I'm waiting for the answer. I want to know who he guards. That's a 3. We're talking about small forwards, right?
Young Lito says Kawhi is a 4. Okay. I'll just get back to this, Ethan. When it comes to Austin Reeves, because you're talking.
Did you see Luka guarding Jimmy Butler in the last game? I don't remember seeing it. I saw Gabe Vincent getting his ass whooped the whole time. You're a fucking idiot, moron. Kawhi is a 3, not a 4, you fucking idiot. So are you just yapping out of your ass or what? Because this doesn't sound like trolling either. You're just talking out of your ass. I think you're that stupid. Kawhi's a 3, moron.
in that Clippers lineup, Joe, with Kawhi Leonard, Derrick Jones Jr., and Ivica Zubac.
Wait, hold on. Fuck that right now. Let's talk shop. Let's entertain the crowd. When the fuck did Luka guard Giannis? How about Andrew Wiggins? Did you see him guarding Andrew Wiggins? Or are you just going to go back and forth on whether those guys play 3 and 4s? I do understand that they can slide into a 4, but they're really small forwards. So what is it? Bozo, the fucking idiot online, yapping behind his computer like the fucking bitch he is. Say that to my face, you fucking coward fuck. All you motherfuckers. All of you who yap behind the camera. I'm in front of the camera. I'm telling you, you know what I look like and you know where I am. I'm not out here fucking being a little coward calling people bozos when you're fucking wrong, you stupid fucking idiot. When the fuck did Luka guard 3s on purpose, you stupid moron? Tell me. You act like we didn't watch all 82 games last year plus the playoffs. Just because you imagine shit and you keep repeating it doesn't mean you're right. And if you're going to run into somebody who already is not in that realm of not telling you to your face, I wish I could. I have to say it to your little pussy-ass coward fucking name online. Say it. If you're going to say it and have conviction of something, make sure it's true. Because there will be somebody like me calling your stupid ass out. I want to know, when the fuck did Luka start guarding 3s and 4s on purpose? Hey, Luka, go guard the best wing in the league.
You know, in the playoffs, though,
switch.
Well, Luka will guard, as Nibel pointed out. Nibel's not trying to get you mad or anything. Nibel did point out something correct in that he's often put on the worst offensive player on the other team, regardless of position.
So what would you consider Lou Dort? Isn't he a guard?
He is a guard, yes. But
so
like,
he's listed as he's listed, if I remember correctly, Lou Dort is kind of a tweener between a 2 and a 3. Because Shea will play the 2, right?
Yes. Good one, Thane. Good one. Oh, that was a good one. Oh, that was a good one. For our audio audience, Stainless came up with the line of the night, Gerald. This is why you have such a loyal following. Some people are into this.
Well, it's like Mike Tyson said, everybody got comfortable talking shit behind a screen because they can avoid getting punched in the face that way, right?
Yeah.
People don't talk like this in front of people generally unless they're nuts.
No.
Calling somebody a bozo and they don't know shit about basketball. No, I'm talking about, no, you said 3, dumb fuck. I'm not talking about 4s now. You said 3s. Luka guards 3s. And I asked you when. When has he played against 3s on purpose? When, stupid ass? I'm still waiting for that answer because you keep jumping back and forth like a fucking clown that you are. No, I'm speaking exactly how I speak normally. This isn't loud, actually. Loud would be if you saw me face to face. Then you'd hear the loudness. Because then that bozo comment that you're yapping about would be flipped up and put up your ass. That's where that bozo comment would go.
I'll just say I have a couple
Don't ever fucking talk to me like you know me. You don't know me. You fucking coward calling people names online like a fucking bitch that you are. Say it to my face. Say it to people's face when you talk shit online. Say it. I dare you. You won't. You're going to sit there with your disease-infested chair and whatever the fucking thing you've been jerking off on, and you're going to yap acting like a tough guy. Fuck you and fuck your existence. How about that? I hope you fucking crash into the wall late at night, break your fucking face. You like that? You like that, bozo? Yeah, speak facts. You're going back on your comments because you know you're fucking stupid. Luka guarding 3s.
And I remember Joe distinctly telling me he was going to keep it clean for tonight's show. Oh wow!
I said I was going to try to keep it clean.
You tried. I'll give you tried. But getting back to Ethan, it's okay if you don't think it's going to work out, because again, it looks great in the regular season. Everyone, it does, with Luka and Austin when they're playing like this on the offensive end. But we've seen with Austin over the course of the past 3 seasons, Joe, in the playoffs, there's just so much that works against him defensively, and they're so much more focused on matchups in the playoffs. And the fact that he is probably going to ask for a play, if he continues to play like this, 35, 40 million a year, is not without the realm of possibility of what he will ask for. I don't know if he'll get it, but if I was his agent, I am just salivating right now after seeing his first 2 performances, especially tonight's performance per se. So with that, Joe, what do you do? Do you look to possibly move him at the trade deadline because it is an expiring contract? He can opt out and become a free agent at the end of the season. And because you and I both said we're only willing to go so far in what we would pay someone who has in the playoffs such a hard time playing defense.
Yeah, the timing might not work. The timing won't work. If somebody's willing to offer Austin Reeves $40 million a year, you have to let him walk. There's no other way. You cannot invest that much money with this particular collective bargaining agreement and risk not getting what you need later. You're going to lose either Rui or Austin one way or the other. If they sign him to, honestly, if they sign him to more than 30, it's going to be a problem. I just think it's going to be a problem. But I feel very comfortable that the new leadership will figure it out.
Okay.
It's
I'm
just
hopeful for that.
No. Don't ban him. Yeah, don't ban. We don't ban here. We're not cowards like he is. See, he is calling people names because he's comfortable where he's at. He has
timed
no
out Bronny earlier today. I did time out Bronny earlier today because I know that was a request that was made by members of our audience. So I did time out Bronny. I'll be honest with you.
Well, it's your show. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. You want to ban him? That's on you. But me, I don't ban people. Cowards ban people. Okay, bitches ban people when you're yapping. People who call people names who they don't even know, like the cowards that they are, they're the ones that do that kind of shit. I don't. So if you want to be a tough guy, you want to be a guy that can sit away from wherever you're at and yap about people, go ahead and keep doing that. But once in a while, you might run into somebody who's going to call you out on it. And I would prefer to call you out with my size 13 in your fucking face, but I don't think that's going to happen because I don't think you have the balls to come over here and do it. And this is not about me and this clown yapping. This is about everybody. This is about how society's gotten comfortable talking shit behind the screen and not dealing with the consequences of that. That's really what this is about. No, you don't want to hear the guy tell the truth. Tell the truth. If you're talking about some guy doing something that he's not doing, I don't even know what the hell to tell you at that point.
Well, it was mentioned earlier today about the possibility of, the team finally heading over to full control by Mark Walter in possibly as early as a month. You mentioned it briefly earlier that we talked about it, but looking at that and how that can affect the team this season, if he takes over full control sooner rather than later, as a lot of people are hoping for. I know Gregory Brown is one of those individuals. I'm one of those individuals that would hopefully like to see that as well. Your thoughts on that, my friend? Because again, you touched on it a little bit during the your first foray here earlier this evening. Just wanted to go ahead and if you wanted to finalize a little bit more on that issue, because again, it is something that possibly could happen and be finalized before the end of the year.
I'm just not concerned about the end of the year in terms of who's coming back, other than LeBron James being off the books. I respect Austin. I think he's, again, went above and beyond his talent. Rui has been a professional and has gotten better every year. I have a lot of admiration for both. But this team has to be built to win championships, not to sign players that are good as your second and third best players. This team has to sign these guys as complementary players, not as stars. Luka needs at least one more guy that can be the perennial guy on the team, and then fill in the blanks from there. And fill in the blanks it's very hard. It's very hard to get the right chemistry. It's very hard to manage the money that you're paying those guys sometimes too, because the timing could mean that a guy like Austin Reeves might be getting close to max money, even though he's a nowhere near max money player. This team, honestly, if I was to build it, it needs to find a way to get at least two all defensive team type players behind Luka Doncic. Maybe if they can, maybe get a guard that can do it.
Ethan, to answer your question, I would be happy somewhere in the middle because this team, as you've seen, there are bouts like earlier in the first quarter today where they just couldn't stop anything. And I'm just hopeful that I would be happy if they could stay somewhere right around the middle of the pack defensively, because if Braun comes back, that could mean, if is what we saw, you got a sample of tonight, that the Lakers could have a top five. We talked about this before the season, a top five offense. If they could be somewhere right around middle of the pack defensively, that could mean good things for the rest of the season. It's just if it really starts to go bad, Joe, and they're a 23rd, 24th, 25th team defensively, then it could get a little unnerving.
Yeah, because that doesn't work out in a league where offense is catered to, and in a league where, if you look at the last couple champions, they had a pretty damn good defense. Denver, looking at Denver in 2023, I think they were so systematically superior in terms of how they ran their team and their offense. I think they didn't have to be too much of a juggernaut, but they were decent enough to dominate, just because their IQ, the pieces made sense. You had the Michael Porter Juniors, you had the Aaron Gordons, you had Jamal Murray playing at the top of his game and healthy. It worked. And then if you look at 2022, you had Golden State doing what they did, which was, they've always been an underrated defensive team, even when they were really in their prime. 2021, you had Giannis, who was a defensive player type, and you saw the revitalization, if you will, of Lopez turning into a runner-up defensive player of the year out of nowhere. The Lakers in 2020, in my view, had AD as he was the defensive player of the year that year, and for some weird reason, he wasn't voted the best defender that year. And then 19, you have the Kawhi Raptors. So if you look at the theme of the last few years of champions, they all had solid defenses. Even though I feel like defense isn't really allowed to be played, they are still needed to some degree, especially the deeper they get in the playoffs, because you do need to make stops. You do absolutely have to make stops in crucial times, and those teams did it when they had to.
You got the great spirit, no Joker, and that's why we love having you here. And again, thank you to both you and DBSH for your super chats. Truly appreciate it. Says, what bothers me is anyone hating on any Laker. Well, it's not personal. when we do not like certain aspects of certain Lakers and whatnot. We're just telling your honest opinions and critiques of them, whether it's good or bad, or because we ultimately want the Lakers to be as successful as possible. But he says, you know what bothers me is anyone hating on any Laker. Really, I don't care who the player is. They a Laker, and I'm repping them. And more power to you for that, don't you?
Yeah, that's a valid point, and
but we're on here. We have to give our evaluations and be honest with our audience.
yeah, it sucks because I'm always I'm always fall in that LeBron area, right? I call it the LeBron area, where for about a month LeBron doesn't do anything that would irk you, and you start getting that feeling like, you know what, maybe I can start liking LeBron a little bit, and then LeBron does something stupid. Genie Bus, Rob Pelinka, hey, you guys did great. Got Luka, got AD, and then they go and get Westbrook. And we become inconsiderate jerk Laker fans and unappreciative. We sound like we get personal with it. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm guilty of getting into my feelings a little too much when it comes to getting back at these guys. But a lot of it stems from a personality difference. I sense a fakeness that usually draws out that anger. If you're genuine and you're not good, or you're in a scenario that you probably shouldn't be in, it's probably a little bit more acceptable from my end to say, well, there's nothing really you can do. It's just not a good spot. It's not going to work. Looking at Dwight Howard, the first stint in LA, a lot of people were upset, right? Laker fans were upset, hated Dwight Howard. I after close analyzation of the time that he was there, Kobe didn't really like him too much. A lot of the rumors about him not wanting to go to LA, he wanted to go to Brooklyn. I go, well, he didn't really want to go there. He never wanted to be a Laker. So what I'm going to sit there and hate him for not wanting to be a Laker? He got traded there. Didn't want to be there. So I never really had that disdain. And then we've talked about the decision the first time, right? Like, why was everybody so upset about his decision other than Cleveland? Like, why would Milwaukee Buck fan hate LeBron for that? Or San Antonio Spur fan? Or LA Laker fan? Like, that has nothing to do with your team. What, he went on TV and said it? So what? Cleveland being angry. Yes, I agree. I understand. Because their team went down to the crapper, right? Like that. It's like, dude, just tell us you're leaving so we can prepare better, right? I get it. So I don't know. Lakers, this problem is going to be gone anyways. These problems that we've had with management, these problems we've had with LeBron are going to be done in likely 9 months, or in 9 months. And now we can focus on the Luka Doncic's, maybe the Austin Reeves or the Rui Hachimuras, those who, you know, you've noticed that is a good example too. I don't want to ever hate on Austin Reeves because he suffers on defense in the playoffs. How long have we seen this with him and Rui struggling in the playoffs, and you don't see the disdain from me to them, do you? Have you ever heard me really get in on Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura?
No, but you try to point out critiques.
Absolutely, there's a difference, right?
They have that get pointed out during the playoffs,
right? And there's a difference, right? Versus, let's say, Jared Vanderbilt, who's an NBA player who cannot catch the ball and dunk from a foot away. That is aggravating. Austin Reeves not being able to guard a Jalen Williams, a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Anthony Edwards is not something that should piss you off. It's just unfortunate. He is not skilled to do that. And Rui Hachimura isn't skilled to be that guy that you want scoring 20 points a game. It's just not gonna happen. They're complementary players, and then the other guy is a player that cannot guard these freakish athletic studs. When is this stupid ass gonna shut up? I got more stamina than you, buddy. You can sit here and yap all you want. You will never, ever get above it. Ever.
I forgot to mention to Blake because he was wondering who pissed you off today, and young Lito. But I also forgot to mention Seth Alexander because Seth.
When somebody says when somebody starts yapping about someone being immature or loud or whatever, and I'm like, so. So
and
are you going to go tell Nick Saban when he's yelling at his team when they're up 40 points with 10 seconds left that he's screaming that they're not getting into the nickel defense? He's screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming. You're going to go tell Nick Saban that he's acting like a child? 7 national championships, greatest coach of my era. What do you want? What do you want? A sewing circle? What are we playing bingo? Go do those things. Let the real men do things here. And go imagine whatever you're imagining out there. You're not going to win this argument. You're not going to stop me, and I'm not going to stop. So you're wasting your time. So go sit in your own baby juice, shut the fuck up, and eat shit. How about that? Is that better? Is that a good way to end it?
And I'll just say this again: when it comes to Austin Reeves,
I am speaking the truth. Sit in this and spin. See, at least the audio didn't know what that was.
Yeah, that's good. I'll just say this again: when it comes to Austin Reeves, you could say that yes, at times he's tried to play really effective defense in the playoffs. Jamal Murray, when he played in the first round against Denver. But the problem is, it takes so much out of him. He becomes really less effective on the offensive end. He's just so focused on trying to make up for his inefficiencies on the defensive end and works so hard on an effort to guard, like you said, young Lito, and to the first round last year, and then of course Jamal Murray before that. It just affects him so greatly on that offensive end. He spends so much energy trying to guard those guys when he's assigned to him. He cannot be that 2-level player that you need at that level at the time. He's effective when he was able to not have to worry about that as much, like in the Memphis series and other series where he was able to capitalize on it. He's just as a two-way player at that level, at that important of a game, it's just hard for him to do that on both ends of the floor because he gives such great effort. And you can see he gives such great effort. It's just hard for him to maintain that level of brilliance on the offensive end when he gives so much effort on the defensive end in the playoffs. And I'll leave it at that. No Joker, appreciate the super chat again. Joe the Blasphemer, Vando hater. We're just not on Vando Hill, No Joker. We're not going to be dishonest with you. We're just not on that. It's just so rough offensively that it's okay during the season. You can get away with it, but when it comes to the defense, like I just said about Austin, you have to be able to play at both ends of the floor. If you don't, you get schemed off the floor by these coaches. A good coach during the playoff and the matchups they're in, they just scheme you off the floor if you are not playing well on both sides of the ball. It's just that simple. I mean, Luka and IR aren't supposed to be guarding at the point of attack. Well, who else do they have? Vincent. You saw Vincent today was ineffective against Edwards.
Where'd you learn that word? Did you learn that word from YouTube? Hearing a coach say those words? Where'd you learn that word? Point of attack? Because all I saw last year at the end of games was Austin getting burned by Anthony Edwards. The tape is there. I don't know. Go watch it. It's on YouTube.
The Lakers won, everyone.
Vando didn't do any better, much better either. I don't even think he played much the last few games. So yeah, not the, and that was his job. That's really why they re-signed him, to be that guy, and he was no better.
For what you're paying him, guys, what you're paying Vando with that extension and for the how many years are on the contract, are you getting what you should be getting out of his services for what you're paying for him? I don't think you are. I just honestly don't think you are when he cannot give you anything on the offensive end. He's somewhat effective defensively at times. Today, he provided you good defense, and he did play a pretty good job as the small ball center. 7 rebounds, 2 block shots. He was effective there on the defensive end. But for what you're paying him, I just don't see the return, the full return on the investment, if that's the case. That maybe is a better way to say that, Joe, because he is giving you moments where he is giving you good defensive effort and hustle on that end, just like Marcus Smart, but there's just not a return that we're seeing as of yet on the offensive end.
Yeah, I don't think it's that important of an issue at the end of the year. I think we like Austin Reeves and we like Rui, and we like the continuity a little bit, even as fans. But this is about winning championships, and you have to build. You have to bring in the second large pillar in this thing, otherwise it's not going to work. It's just not. You'd have to have already developed probably 3 or 4 players that are maybe not so one-dimensional through the draft, through maybe a good free agent pickup here and there. But there's too many single dimension or no dimension players on this team. Vando doesn't serve any specific talent on a consistent basis, either on offense or on defense. Rui is got a good offensive game, but it's not consistent enough. His defense is average at best. Austin is a pretty damn good offensive player when he's on, but his defense suffers. DeAndre Ayton, what's he going to be? Is he going to be somebody that they're going to re-sign? I wouldn't mind having him as a starting center if everything else is good, sure. But I don't know. I don't know how the makeup of this team will be until I think they find that second guy. And they may not find that guy until the following year. A lot of things have to happen for that to happen, though. So I don't know how they're going to prepare. I'm in a lot of ways, I'm glad I'm not. Actually, I would love to be involved with it, actually, if I could. But I'm also glad that I'm not having to deal with it, because it's going to be a tough task.
Ethan works for
I'm sorry. I want to finish up what Joker said. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I've talked to Empire Jeff a lot about this with the Dodgers and how we can be very vicious. I mean, Max Muncy was struggling coming out of the gate this last year, and the vile things Dodger fans were saying about him after all that man had done for the Dodgers, it started making me turn a little bit on how I would comment on certain players. And we do that a lot with the Lakers. And in some cases, it's warranted, especially when it's someone like Russell Westbrook or someone like Jared Vanderbilt, because they frustrate you because they don't have to be as bad as they are in bad moments. They shouldn't be that bad. Somebody like Ben Simmons, right, who's never played with the Lakers, but the fact that guy quit the way he did and still got paid for it it builds this resentment towards it. And then anything around it, anything that looks like it, you'll start to kind of throw your venom on it. But I think at the end, you are right, because I bring up the 90s Lakers a lot, and that was a time when we did not have a competitive title run team. We knew that as Laker fans, but we enjoyed the players. The players did work hard. The players did pull every ounce of their talent out. And they had some amazing series wins in that because of it, because they were the Lakers, because they squeezed every piece of talent they could out of themselves, except for Eldon Campbell. I think Eldon Campbell's the only one that frustrated me in the 90s to the point where I wanted to wring him by the neck. Now, Pig Miller and then the latter stages of a Sam Bowie, sure, you watch them play, I'm like, geez, please retire. But that was the extent of the negativity there. Just that the fact that these guys should probably hang it up. But Eldon Campbell was in his prime, and he still wasn't the guy that he should have been. And that was probably my only memory of frustration in terms of a player on the Laker team at that time. Everyone else said L3, Terry Teagle, Nick Van Exel, Eddie Jones, Vlade Divac. Those guys were very easy to like because they did play hard, and they squeezed it all out as much as they could. It's just it wasn't championship worthy. And if you bring back Rui and you bring back Austin, it's kind of going to be this kind of a similar thing too, where I'll always cheer for Austin Reeves and Rui. Hope they do really well and enjoy watching them play, but it's not going to likely mean a title contender if they're your second and third best players at the end of the year.
Ethan, again, we'll touch on Delta Connect we did earlier. It just hurts me because I saw so much promise in the kid last summer, starting when he played here in Vegas. It was just so good to see, and the 30-point game, multiple 30-point game outbursts that he had during the course of the season. But that trade messed him up, and he has weaknesses, severe weaknesses. He's probably one of the worst defenders in the NBA right now. We saw him tonight. Instantly, he goes out there, not less than a minute later. Anthony Edwards is getting an and one on him when they got switched on it. They will fish him out. They will seek him out on every defensive possession when he's out there. He has to prove that he needs to stay out there, Ethan, by shooting at a high percentage and being able to score on that other end. Otherwise, it is just so hard to keep him out there because he doesn't play with force. He's pretty weak as far as him just having strength when he makes his moves one way or the other or plays defense. He's just such a pushover defensively. It's so bad because, again, like I said, it hurts me to admit it, but he actually looks like he's one of the worst defenders in the league right now. And that's saying something. And until he plays with more force, more energy, more aggression in his game, I don't know if he is a playable individual that you can go ahead and count on consistently coming off your bench until he gets that in his head. He's really, really a problem because the fact is they could really use a guy like him right now, Joe. And congrats. Thank you, JSJ. 2,500 subscribers. Truly appreciate everyone out there subscribing to what we do. But Joe, yeah, your thoughts on Dalton as far as
He looks done.
what we got right there.
It's looking like he's done. If you're not going to take advantage of these type of games where your game will be a cornerstone in your ability to shoot the ball, I don't know what else he can do. If he's not going to play a little bit of defense, even though he's an athletic guy, then there's a mental block that's occurred here, and it doesn't look like it's going to get unblocked without probably new scenery. And maybe that might not work either. Maybe maybe the NBA game is just too much for him. It doesn't look like it's going to change
because it started out so well, and we were hoping for the best for that kid because it was really starting out so well.
Drafting in the first round when they did was, it's not been a normal occurrence because of draft capital that's been traded away. It was nice to see somebody get drafted at 17 where some were thinking that this person dropped and was better than where he was picked. Maybe those guys that let him drop knew something we didn't know.
Well, there you have it. The Lakers do win, though, of course, tonight. Very impressive victory, 128-110. Their next game is Sunday against Sacramento. We'll cover it for you on playback.tv / Lakers Fast Break, and I'll try to have the simulcast of our chat available to you on YouTube as well. Then, of course, after the world famous post game, See how many people we piss off that time on Sunday. Don't forget, I have the Lakerholics crew with me tomorrow morning, about 12 hours from now at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So join us then. It'll be interesting to see what Laker Tom and Michael Heinrich and hopefully El Rob will be there to go ahead and say and do. Hopefully Laker Tom won't give the same number one sign that Joe did, like he did last time to Jamie Sweet when he was there. Since Jamie Sweet's not going to be there, maybe he'll actually be less pissed off than normal. So go ahead and join us then. But Joe, before we head out, I just want to bring this up again because I want to clarify. I think I said next month. According to Ramona Shelburne, on the day the Los Angeles Dodgers were playing, Mark Walter took the next step in purchasing the Los Angeles Lakers. He presented his proposal to a subcommittee of owners on Friday, according to ESPN. If approved by the full group of owners, next week, the $10 billion sale, so that's what it looks like, it's going to be $10 billion sale, could be approved by the end of the month, which should make you, me, Gregory, and everyone else very happy for the future of the Los Angeles Lakers. You like that? Oh, yeah. Oh, you're on mute.
It's going to happen, and it's going to be a good thing.
Absolutely.
I'm very excited for it, and we're just going to have to wait a little bit, though, for this thing to get built correctly.
No Joker again. Well, Joe was asked by me. I even asked Joe, because he wanted to do his own channel, and John. I met John through another channel. Yeah, combining the shows would be great. Remember, Joe used to do his late show on the late night here. It used to be a really good time here, but he has chosen to do the Joe Soro experiment, and we blessed to have him here anytime he can to stop by. It would be great. Again, we just need your support. We want to get to the level of where those other guys have. So when Joe picks fights, or Joe didn't pick a fight actually, when Joe defends himself on camera like he did tonight, it can be done on a larger scale and a larger audience. So
it's not something I like doing. Tonight was
no, I know you don't like
the extreme, but sometimes the volume has to go up on things that keep happening that need to be somewhat addressed. And sometimes obnoxious responses, loud responses, might open the ears a little bit, and in some ways it'll distract people away. But more often than not, I think it's important to make very clear that I think there's too many people out there that are too comfortable doing things to people, and they need to be called out on it. I'm not out there calling people that I don't know stupid things. Now, I don't know Jeannie and I don't know Rob Pelinka, but we do know how they do their work. You can look at it that way. Still kind of wrong in a lot of ways too, sounding personal, and I've admitted that it sounds like that. But I can't stop interpretation. I can't. Some people are going to think certain ways, and no matter how much I tell them it's not that, they're going to still think that, and there's this weird balance that's there. So at this point, I just go all in. It doesn't matter in the end. You want to take it how you want to take it, go ahead. Doesn't matter to me.
And to end on a positive note, Luka is the first player in Lakers history to start a season with 2 consecutive 40-point games, and only the 4th player in the NBA ever to do so, joining, ironically, Anthony Davis, Michael Jordan, and Wilt. That's a pretty good company right there. 3 Hall of Famers right there, indeed. No Joker says it was perfect, Joe. We love your fire. No Joker, great to have you here.
I know a lot of people do, because that's why you're here, and I don't like being that way. I'm not happy about what I did, but I did it.
I'm sure you'll still sleep very well tonight.
I will sleep very well. Matter of fact, I'll be in La La Land about 10 minutes.
Thank God Intel Wild didn't stop by.
A little too much. There was a little too much vulgarity there, even for my own taste, and it's not likely I'm going to watch the show again because of it. But my reaction to that kind of stuff isn't out of control either. It's just what's coming in my head at that moment.
Don't forget, though, if you can, please help out Yaron Weitzman. I interviewed him. The interview is on the channel. This is a really good book if you want to know behind the scenes of a lot of what's going down in Lakerland, except for the Damon Jones part. But a lot of interesting things that you didn't know about that's happened in the past few years in El Segundo. A Hollywood Ending, the dreams and drama of the LeBron Lakers. Really, really good book. It is a page turner. I had a really good time reading it. And again, I had an interview with Yaron Weitzman that's available on both audio and video. And don't forget, good friend Drip Show at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. Again, if you guys really want something unique that he can make for you for this holiday season, or for someone you love or care about, or for Joe, you can make something that Joe, you want to send it to him, whether it's good or bad. There you go. Just follow at Drip Show Shop first on Instagram and Twitter, then slide into his DMs and let him know what you're looking at. You can get great canvas art like you see right above me here with Kobe and Luka, shirt, hat. He can make it happen right there at Drip Show indeed. But great to have you here, Joe. Once again, we'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific time for the Lakerholics crew. And then after that, of course, on Sunday, it's the Lakers and the Kings on playback and our post game as well. Drip Show, much love to you, my friend. Keep up the great work. Of course, truly appreciate you joining us. Again, a big hearty thank you to everyone who stayed up to almost midnight Pacific time, 3 a.m. on the East Coast, or wherever you are around the world. Because we've got so many listeners and viewers all around the world that we cannot thank you enough for doing so. Joe, any last thoughts before we head on out?
No.
You'll get him back in game 2, Dodgers. We'll get him back. Indeed. So for Joe, yes, go ahead.
Just win 4, even if it takes 7 games. Do it well.
4.
Just win 4.
Right there for you. So for Joe Soro, it's Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. We'll be back tomorrow with the Lakerholics and Sunday with the Lakers and the Kings right here at the Lakers Pass Break Podcast. You look like you were going to die when you were eating those wings.
Yeah.